The Cheshire Cat is a really great example of Lewis Carroll's love of wordplay. So he takes, with this character, and also with the Mad Hatter, a very common expression that Victorian people would use all the time, and he basically brings it to life or puts sort of flesh onto its bones. So he takes two expressions, to be as mad as a hatter, and the other expression is to grin or to smile like a Cheshire Cat. And he takes those expressions that people would use figuratively, so they would use them to refer to a friend who was as mad as a hatter, or they would talk about somebody smiling like a Cheshire Cat. But rather than using them in that way, figuratively or metaphorically, what he does is to take the core idea in each of those and actually make a character out of them. So he gives us the Hatter, he gives us the Cheshire Cat. And if we take an expression that we might use now, so we might say that somebody's as cool as a cucumber, maybe, then it would be like thinking, what I'll do is I'll make a character who is a cucumber, maybe with some sunglasses to show that he is cool, and have a whole kind of encounter between my characters based on that. So this is kind of the idea behind the Cheshire Cat. His key characteristic, I suppose, his key feature is that grin, is the fact that he's always smiling. And probably, I think, because of that, that means that he seems to be one of the nicest, most pleasant characters that Alice encounters in Wonderland. He's quite affable or kind. He's a character that actually tries to help her or guide her. He gives her some guidance, he gives her some information. And this is actually quite unusual in Wonderland, where the characters that she meets tend to be less than pleasant, tend to often criticise her, and can often just completely ignore her requests for help. So the Tweedles in Through the Looking Glass completely ignore her when she asks for instructions as to where to go. So the Cheshire Cat does give her information. It's a little bit unsettling, perhaps, because the nature of the information that he gives her about Wonderland is that essentially everybody there, including her, is mad. But nevertheless, he does seem to be kind of well-intentioned and quite pleasant, especially, as I say, compared to the other characters that she meets. The Cheshire Cat has a really impressive party trick. The thing that he can do that no other character in these books is able to do is to appear and disappear at will. Sometimes very suddenly, and other times, and I think this is even more strange and disconcerting for Alice, he can do it really gradually and really slowly. It's one of the examples of how she is so smart and clever and how she adapts to the environment that she finds herself in. Because at one point in the croquet match, when she encounters the Cheshire Cat for the second time, and he's very slowly appearing, she decides to wait until his ears appear, because otherwise he won't be able to hear anything that she says. So it shows how well she is sort of getting to know the environment that she's moving through and the sort of key characteristics of the different people that she's meeting. So the fact that this cat is able to sort of appear and disappear and vanish very quickly and then sort of reappear at will is a really good example as well of how Lewis Carroll is conveying what it's like to be dreaming. So this is an excellent example of his attempt, I think, to show just how sort of strange the things are that happen in our dreams, where things can sort of appear and disappear, merge into each other. It is something that you can take in your stride when you're asleep, and this is certainly what Alice does.